Westcast
Network.
Now fix to start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares on the best part of my day. The goods from the woods.
Hot damn.
This is the Goods from the Woods. My name's Rivers Langley.
Hi, I'm Pat Riley.
Mr. Goodnight, man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Music to my ears.
And we are joined today by comedian, genius, American
geez.
treasure,
American treasure.
Jesse Case.
Hey guys,
How are you doing?
I'm good.
On Labor Day weekend, 1955 in Atlanta, Georgia, a restaurant opened that would change the face of America. And I'm talking about Waffle House here.
There's a waffle in the baker on the grill. We're making bacon at the Waffle House. You're always welcome back home.
Just in Georgia alone, where they started, there's 381 of them, and they span out all the way as north as Pennsylvania, all the way up into the Midwest in Illinois, and all the way west as Arizona. And they're basically these little tiny restaurants that they put up within months. Like, if you notice, they'll be breaking ground on a Waffle House.
Yeah.
And within a month, they have a sign up and they're hiring.
Well,
already.
they plant seeds. They plant Waffle House seeds.
Yeah.
and that's how the restaurants
Spring up.
They spring up. They're always near an off ramp.
Yeah,
They
from
feed
the
off
interstate.
of the seeds. Feed off of truck exhaust and discontent,
Exactly.
and that's how they become strong.
Buried meth stashes.
Right.
And that's how some of us live, just in the fumes and the cracks, you know what I'm saying?
That's right. Well, and what's funny is now there's been a couple of them like that have started springing up in like really hip parts of town, like
Where?
Birmingham. The cool part of Birmingham is called 5 Points South, and there's a Waffle House there.
Good.
That is just doing gangbusters. Like
Of course.
I was there just recently, and like in the middle of the day, it was packed, and that's rare. Because,
Of course. I get very Waffle House. I mean, I follow them on Facebook and Twitter and all that.
Yeah.
They're very slowly becoming aware of their irony value.
Oh, totally.
Who runs the Facebook feed?
It's
for-
actually a pretty hip feed.
Is it Bert? Bert, the guy that makes the chili?
It's not. It's
is
not
it
Burt's
Walt?
Chili. No,
Walt soup?
nor is it Norma.
Or is it Alice's
But
sweet tea?
And then there's the Casa de Waffle Picante sauce, which is not given a character.
Nor should it be, because that's just like a road into the world of just casual Southern racism. That would be really
I know. But
Alberto, you know.
I think they're becoming aware slowly but surely. I mean, they have a very self-deprecating Twitter feed.
Yeah. Well, that's, that's good.
And they're becoming aware slowly but surely that they can open up in those parts of town and just kill it. Like, I think, the second a Waffle House opens up in Silver Lake, game over.
Yeah.
We're talking no parking for miles.
Oh, yeah.
With their prices, too, to be the cheapest thing in town.
And I think the same thing about Cracker Barrel. Pop a Cracker Barrel in Echo Park, get out of here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
amazing.
Uncle Herschel.
Yeah.
Just, running game.
Yeah.
I actually just went to the westernmost Cracker Barrel on I-10 in Buckeye, Arizona.
I've been to that one.
Oh my God, I've been Cracker Barrel deprived for over a year now. So when I got there, first of all, it was 9:45, so I felt bad because
You're missing lunch?
they closed at 10.
Oh, you got there for
9:45
dinner. Yeah,
PM, I should say. They closed at 10, so I felt like an asshole going in there and ordering something
Nah.
crazy. So I just got sausage and biscuits and gravy because I know they got that stuff laying around. But man, it's beautiful.
Did you play the golf tee game?
Yeah, absolutely. They have a.
Are you pretty smart, or are you a genius?
I'm an ignoramus.
You're an ignoramus?
An ignoramus.
I have memorized how to get one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I was pretty in with a Cracker Barrel waitress for a minute, and she let me open one and read the instructions, and I memorized the pattern. And now we're talking every time, genius
level.
So that's why you gave me that intro.
That's
I
why I
appreciate
said
that.
that.
Genius.
Bond kind of shit right there.
Yeah, yeah,
Sleeping your way into that inside, that covert information.
yeah.
And for those that don't know, Cracker Barrel is like it's like a. I don't know. It's like a fancy Waffle House. It's the
Yeah, it's a fancy Waffle
But
House.
it has a store next to it. Like there's
An old country store.
Old country store where you can buy like rock candy and like Larry the Cable Guy T-shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's essentially
Alabama's last album was a Cracker Barrel exclusive.
Cracker Barrel exclusive.
if that gives you any idea of the clientele.
my favorite Cracker Barrel exclusive.
I just love that like Paul McCartney and like Bob Dylan have like Starbucks exclusive albums, but Alabama has
As Cracker Barrel exclusive.
Well, that's one of my dreams for comedy is to have a Cracker Barrel
Cracker Barrel
exclusive.
exclusive.
Yeah.
next to the Lee Greenwood Cracker Barrel exclusive.
The Lee Greenwood carving, the wood carving of Lee Greenwood.
My favorite Cracker Barrel exclusive is the song "Berry Pie" by Dolly Parton. The first time I heard it, I didn't know. I could tell it was Dolly Parton. It was just playing over the loudspeaker in Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
And the chorus is a berry pie, I'm gonna make him a berry pie. But through the din of the restaurant, it sounded like she was singing a baby pie, I'm gonna make him a baby pie, which would be way more sinister than a berry pie. But that song it's maddening.
Berry pie, I'm gonna make him a berry pie. I wanna be the apple
It's
of
the
his
most
eye.
insane. Like you listen to it, and it just sounds like you're going crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
A baby pie.
Or berry pie.
Yeah, if Dolly Parton wanted to feed me, I
Yeah.
would eat it.
Yeah.
I would eat the food.
That's true.
I would like to breastfeed off of it. I mean, let's just be honest here.
Absolutely.
Yep, well, yep. Going with the obvious. She has.
nice legs too.
She
When
did.
was
She
young.
had great
It was
legs.
Total package deal.
She,
would say.
yeah, yeah. I would give her a coat of one color. You know what I'm saying?
So, if you grew up anywhere near the South, and you're from Tennessee,
Nashville.
Nashville,
Yeah.
and
Well, I lived in North Carolina for 11 years.
yeah, so
and then Nashville.
Anybody that's lived in the South for any period of time has some insane Waffle House memories.
of course.
And
Well, it's. I mean, it's a staple. I mean, it's like it's. I've spent. I can't even do the math on how long I've spent at Waffle House.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
spent 24 hours straight there once. Slept in my car.
oh wow,
I mean, I almost lived there for a while. It was crazy.
Yeah.
The fact that I never worked there still amazes me because every regular ever wound up working there.
yeah,
You would just they're like the Borg. You know, it's like you hang out and you're like you have to like not be a threat. You
Yeah.
know, but the second they notice something, they assimilate you.
right.
And resistance is futile.
And like I said earlier, it's like it's weird to see people eating there during the day.
Oh, I used to eat in there during the day all the time.
Did you? Okay.
Oh, me too. Because okay, so Waffle House splits up into 3 shifts. All right, this I know. There's first shift, second shift, and third shift. First shift and third shift make all the money.
Yeah.
All right, but they're not split up into equal 8 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 24 hours in a day. You think there'd be 3 8-hour shifts, but they're
Right.
not at all. Second shift is from 2 to 9. It's a 7-hour shift.
Jeez. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The
and then
dinner hour.
and then 9 to 7. That's your 10-hour shift. That's
Yeah.
your third shift, right?
Yeah.
So they get the bar rush, then prep for the breakfast rush. So second shift from 2 to 9, they don't get anybody. So that was always my hang time because that's when you could go in, you could hang out for hours.
Yeah.
You could just, they're not doing anything.
You're talking 2 to 9 a.m., right?
No, I'm talking 2 to 9 p.m.
Yeah,
PM.
2 to 9
Oh, okay.
a.m. at Waffle House.
Yeah,
is
that's
like
true.
Prime real estate. That's
Prime
when-
real estate.
You're right, you're right.
Yeah,
Okay,
you gotta
yeah.
you gotta have your 15-year pin for that puppy. I mean, because
that's when you make money. Make a
well, the
ton
thing
of money
is,
doing that.
I smoked cigarettes.
Yeah.
Still smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
But I also smoked cigarettes when I was 16 or so.
Yeah.
When I started, and I switched to this weird sort of art school, high school. And I remember the first time I went, we just hung out there after school one day, and I was like making new friends at this new school. And we could smoke in there. And that blew my mind.
Yeah.
Because, I couldn't smoke at home
Right.
around my folks or whatever. So I would just go there every day after school, every day for 2 years. And then I just kept going after that.
Yeah.
I would go there on the weekends, and there were about 12 to 20 regulars.
Yeah.
So if we were all in there at once, occupying every booth in the smoking section, it was amazing.
Well, they
Amazing.
Then they used to have cigarette machines in there too, so you would, even if you were just sitting in there eating, you could see like there'd be like random 15-year-olds that would just walk in and like slowly put $7 worth of quarters in a machine and then like run out.
We didn't have the cigarette machine at ours.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Okay. Yeah, the one at actually both of the ones in the town I grew up in Auburn, Alabama, both had cigarette machines, and yeah, you
Nice.
I miss those things because they had those pegs that you just want to pull.
Yeah,
as
you
a
pull it
kid.
out.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I love those.
Yeah,
things
it's like
on
a
racetracks and everything.
those pegs. What? So they have those on cigarette machines and organs.
Yeah.
Those are the two things. Those pump organs.
Yeah.
And it still sounds like a fucking organ. I remember there's one at my grandparents' house, and like the pegs say different things, like
A pump organ or a cigarette machine at your grandparents' house?
a pump organ.
Oh, okay.
And it'll say,
You can play box, toccata, and fugue and D minor on one of them cigarette machines.
yeah, that's right, that's right. But the pump organ, it has a bunch of different sounds, cello and
Yeah.
like flute, and it
Yeah,
just
yeah.
sounds like an organ. Maybe theirs was broken, but it's just always an organ.
All the settings sound the same.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I just wanted there was I had a life change. I had like a moment, like a moment that I marked time by. Like it was such a perfect
Like your BCAD moment.
Yeah. Like it's the most cinematic thing that's ever happened to me, I think. And it happened in a Waffle House when I was in 11th grade. Me and a couple of friends were there late at night, and we had like a standard because every Waffle House has a jukebox, which is filled with their own original songs, which I'm sure we'll get into in just a moment.
Yes, filled with
Oh, don't get
45s.
me- don't get me started.
And then also, reliably good. Like there's always Bob Seger.
There's always Johnny Cash. There's
Johnny
always the
Cash,
Doors.
The
Yeah.
Doors, stuff like that. And
Alabama.
Alabama.
Yep.
And
I remember a lot of then contemporary country stuff.
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
too, like
Yeah.
Diddy and that
Well,
kind of
every
stuff.
6 months a guy would come in and change it, and I would always scheme to replace one of the 7 inches with like a Radiohead or something. So somebody goes up to play some Kenny Chesney,
Yeah.
because she thinks my tractor's sexy,
Right.
and then they get Paranoid Android or
Yeah,
something. I
perfect.
thought that'd be great.
So we had just this, we just had a standard playlist whenever we went to Waffle House. Like we needed to hear, and I'm not an Aerosmith fan, but Sweet Emotion in a Waffle House, it's too perfect.
It's very cinematic.
It's
yeah,
perfect.
Perfect.
So it would always be Sweet Emotion by Aerosmith, and we'd always play, Mother and Child Reunion by Paul Simon, because they had his first record in there for no reason. And then the other one was Black Water by the Doobie Brothers. And there's a very specific reason for that, because at the end of the song, if you recall, there's the 4-part harmony part where he goes,
I'd like to hear some funky Dixieland, pretty mama, come and take me by the hand.
right?
Hand, take me by the hand.
Precisely. It's a 4-part harmony.
Doobie Brothers right here.
yeah.
We had.
Can I be the black one, or can I be? I'll either be the black one or be skunk.
You're skunk.
I'll be skilled because of the mustache.
Oh, okay, yeah. But so it was only the three of us. It was my friend Adam, Mark, and I, and we're sitting there. We've got this harmony down, but our fourth member is missing, and so we're all sitting around, and then the part comes, and we all go, like to hear some funky, and then we got our parts, by the hand take, and then we're all doing it, and then out of the back, this guy who, if you've seen the film Office Space, he looked exactly like the guy who's like, it's a jump to conclusions, Matt.
Yeah.
He looked exactly like that guy.
The Wilford Brimley guy.
Right. He comes out of the dishwashing area with the steaming pile of dishes and completes the chorus. We just stood up and we were like, yeah! Like,
Yeah.
that guy gets it. It was perfect. So if there's ever a film that I do,
That's very presumptuous.
it's going to be a scene.
It's good that you have goals.
I said that I do.
Yeah.
I didn't say it's going to be good.
A moment in some kind of 80s comedy or something where you get an entire Waffle House wide sing along with that thing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
We had a guy at ours that would try it all the time. He would bring in a CD player, and he would sell burned CDs. Right? He had this binder full of CDs, and he just burned CDs at home, and he would sell them to people for full CD prices. Like it'd be like $15 for a burned, Michael Jackson or something. But sometimes during the train wreck bar rush that would happen at about 3:30 a.m. in Nashville, he would like pop something in a CD player. They would unplug the jukebox. So it'd be something like Beat It or something like that. And that's the closest I've ever seen to just a whole... Because everyone's drunk. It's at prime time.
Right.
It's also like a weird thing to do.
Yeah.
And that's the closest I've ever seen to like a full Waffle House like Thriller dance.
Yeah,
happen.
we used to at Waffle House. I lived in Atlanta for a while, and if you ever when you live in Atlanta or you visit Atlanta, a lot of people go to Stone Mountain. I don't know if you guys have been to
I have.
Stone Mountain, which is like the Confederate Mount Rushmore. It's probably one of the most.
Guy. Maybe.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same. The
I
same
did not
guy
know that.
carved both of them.
But on
What a
Friday
niche
nights-
market.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. Isn't it the same guy that did the Crazy Horse or started the Crazy Horse?
I don't know. No, I think that guy was kind of if I recall correctly, like the whole thing with Mount Rushmore is just like it was sort of a white supremacist thing.
I'm not
It's where
surprised.
It's where they restarted the Klan in the early 20th century.
That was Stone Mountain. Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, they had a laser light show every Friday, which is just like one of the most horrifying things you'll ever see. If you have
I've
any
been.
sort of like
Yeah.
liberal sensibilities, you're just like,
I've been.
oh man, this is just like the South never lost the war.
Yep.
At that laser light show, it's But anyway, they used to play like they used to have a soundtrack for it, which was reliably "The Devil Went Down to Georgia." Proud to Be an American by Lee Greenwood, the second Lee Greenwood mentioned in this episode. And if you can recall all the Lee Greenwood,
Where at least he knows he's free.
yeah.
Which that line always bothered me.
Well, at least I know I'm free.
It's basically saying like we're idiots.
Yeah. But all of this is shit.
At least,
we're free.
at least I know him.
I was in Canada once, but I didn't know if I was free. But it would be Devil Went Down to Georgia, Proud to Be an American, and the American Trilogy by Elvis.
Yeah.
And we would play that at Waffle House, kind of in jest.
Yeah.
Yes.
But one time we had a similar situation where like there was just
Were there people with laser pointers?
I wish that would have been perfect.
Laser pointers and flashlights.
I
They
know.
had a homemade one.
Yeah.
Like a planetarium happens to a laser blink forward later that night.
Everybody
Yeah.
pulled out their
Just up on the ceiling.
styrofoam coolers of Keystone and
Yeah.
got into it. But no, there was a group of people that just were singing along to the whole thing. It was, and this was at like 3 a.m, and it was one of the most, like, it was just the spirit of just Waffle House had entered, and yeah, it was magical.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
Well, it's a different America. It's the underbelly. It's the hopeless America. It's
And even in Atlanta, which is a very like urbane, cosmopolitan city, which does have a lot of Waffle Houses, and everybody goes to Waffle House.
381 of them, or that's in Georgia.
Well,
but
that's
yeah.
really what American Trilogy was about. We've come this far, but we've got that underbelly. We got that history.
yeah.
That's where our soul comes from.
Right. I mean, I mean, Elvis, of course, big on underbelly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he drank.
Well, big on overbelly by the end too.
Yeah. Well, the man drank gravy from a thermos.
Yeah.
So let's
If
keep.
you got a couple of biscuits and you're on the road, it's the best way to do it.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, the guy would shoot at televisions.
I saw reportedly that television at one of those off-site Elvis museums at Graceland, because there's a bunch of off-site
Oh,
ones.
you know that was just Aloysius got a TV and shot him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was the one next to
Yeah.
his plane, so it was
Look for the
somewhat.
bullet
okay.
hole.
Yeah.
It's a 22 hole because
Yeah.
he carried a 22 Savage revolver.
That's
That's
right.
how you know it was. Elvis.
I'll tell you guys something cool about Graceland. I have when you visit, you can't go upstairs.
Yeah.
They don't let you go upstairs
Yeah,
to
yeah.
see where the king dismounted his throne.
Right.
But I have been because I knew someone that coordinated the tours.
Oh, nice.
My mom was like friends with the lady. So we were able to go upstairs, and I like saw the bathroom where he fucking bit his tongue off and died. Wow. Very weird.
You've been to all the inner sanctums.
I know. We're talking Cracker Barrel. We're talking Graceland.
Yeah.
Just like that has to be. Well, it's interesting because I was about to say it's like the American Temple at Jerusalem, Graceland. You know,
That's the holy of holies.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
toilet.
Yeah, just people kind of standing there touching the wall.
Yeah.
kind of crying.
And if you walked into it, you would melt. But you
Yeah.
know, obviously you're here, so the
Yeah.
mythology isn't right.
Yeah, the mythology doesn't hold up.
I wanted to read this little news article from 2011 and just get everybody's opinion.
Way to get us on topic.
I'm getting us back.
Yeah, good.
All right.
Good call,
We're
Rivers.
getting a whip.
I know.
In August 2011, in August 2011, a man tried to run his wife over during her shift at Waffle House. Charles Patrick O'Brien was charged with attempted murder and felony criminal mischief after he, quote, intentionally drove his 1987 Ford pickup truck through the Waffle House building in Panama City Beach, Florida, according to News Herald. After crashing, O'Brien got out of his vehicle with a knife in hand before someone was able to stop him. His wife was struck by the car and taken to the hospital.
Oh man, the Redneck Riviera, PC Beach. That
if you've never been to a Waffle House, it's 95% plate glass. Like it's just big open. So this, if you're going to try to, trying to kill somebody,
and they're all in Tornado Alley, and they're made of pure glass.
Exactly.
Which I think a little Darwinism. I have seen someone drive through a Waffle House.
Oh, have you?
Yes.
Oh, please let me know.
Similar situation.
Yeah.
Not trying to kill anybody. This is just super drunk guy.
Yeah.
But he had a Dodge Ram or something like that, and just drove through. No one was hurt, but completely demolished the front door. The whole front half of his car was in the Waffle House. And I was sitting in there having a cigarette, playing poker. And that
when did he make a grand entrance and declare his?
No, he was just kind of like very out of it. This was on Highway 96 in Franklin, Tennessee. That was my haunt. That was the one I'd go to.
Oh, okay.
It was amazing because you'll also notice not only are Waffle Houses built near off ramps.
Yeah.
But they're built near motels. A lot of them are next to motels. I mean, obviously there's motels near off-ramps. But some of them are like in hotel parking lots.
Yeah.
And
you get free breakfast if you stay at the hotel, and the one in
a lot of times
South College in Auburn. If you're ever in Auburn, Alabama, stay at the Econo Lodge because you get free Waffle House breakfast next door.
I'm partial to the Shoney's hotel breakfast deal, but
well, there is a Shoney's hotel breakfast deal. There's also sometimes the restaurant will be the hotel, will be like Shoney's Inn or something like that. In Pennsylvania, there's a Waffle Inn, which is a Waffle House in a motel, and I've stayed there.
Wow,
had to. But the interesting thing is, I still don't know what the deal is with Waffle House employees. They're the most train wrecky of any employee. I don't know how these people get employment. Most of them at any Waffle House you go to live in that motel, the motel next door. We had several people that lived in the motel.
Yeah.
And also a parole officer would show up every now and then because just everyone on his list would be on shift.
Yeah, I was going to say they hire a lot of work release too.
Yeah.
Like they're the one
ton of work release.
The one in town, if you stay there till dawn, the paddy wagon will like drive by and pick up the people, making your hash browns.
Yeah.
Take them back to the county jail.
I almost got a job at Waffle House corporate, actually.
Corporate?
Yeah, Waffle House corporate.
The sanctum, yes.
Yeah, I know where the decisions are made. Where Bert works. Bert,
where Bert,
Alice, Walt.
Yeah, that's where they keep Alice's ashes.
And just if you're not clear, there's
like a cast of characters that there aren't people behind them, but they just
there are cartoon images.
Yeah,
really.
Well, no, I think
there's a cartoon.
It's my understanding that all right, so on the menu it'll say instead of just chili, it's Bert's chili.
It's Bert's chili,
and then instead of just soup, it's Walt's soup, and instead of just sweet tea, it's Alice's sweet tea, and most of the other Mary's pie. Somebody has pies.
Someone's got pies.
Yeah,
someone's got pie covered.
Yeah, but it's my understanding that these are all people who worked at Waffle House for 50 years, and they just named stuff after them. I think there is a real Alice, there is a real Bert. At least in my heart, it's still real to me. Damn it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was at this when I was in college. I went to this school, Emory in Atlanta, which is kind of a very sort of hotsy-totsy, not to brag or anything, but there was this hotsy-totsy, upwardly mobile people school, and they had a job fair, and I decided to show up without resumes, wearing a leather jacket and cutoffs and Doc Martens, as you are prone to wear at a job fair at a university where all the IBM and Turner and all those people were, and I was walking around, and the woman that was running the Waffle House booth was like, "I like your style," and she called me over and we talked, and she was just like, "Yeah, you look like Waffle House corporate material because you just look like you don't give a fuck." And I gave him my info. Which wasn't on a resume. It was on the back of, some business card or some part of a folder from some other company. And I got called from Waffle House corporate for a couple of weeks, and I had to go through the whole sort of thing of like, do I graduate from this school? And then tell my parents after I graduate, spending all this money on an education, going, yeah, I'm going to work at Waffle House corporate, you know?
To be fair, it is corporate.
But
That's
even
true.
then, like with if it's Waffle House corporate, it still seems like, you know.
Well, it's still the Waffle House equivalent of being corporate.
Yeah.
But it really would have been bad if she said, I like your style, you want to work the day shift.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Senior citizens plot a killing spree at Waffle House.
Did they plot it there, or did they just want to have the killing spree
They
at a Waffle
plotted
House?
it there. It says
A lot of plots have happened at Waffle House. I've
Tons.
been in a few.
November 2012, 4 senior citizens used a Waffle House in Toccoa, Georgia, Toccoa, Georgia, as a
Been
meeting
there.
ground for a terrorist plot against federal officials, according to Adam Serwer of Mother Jones. FBI recordings reveal that these elderly men, believed to be part of a fringe militia group, planned to kill other citizens and government officers using toxic agents. The men were arrested at the Waffle House and charged in plots to purchase, quote, an unregistered explosive device, a silencer, and to manufacture biological toxin ricin, according to an FBI
I'm just
report.
imagining.
Wow.
Like, I'm imagining.
What plots have you guys hatched at a Waffle House?
Well, first of all, that group of people, it sounds like kind of a white trash equivalent of the old lady gang from the Monty Python, where it's like you never can expect that it's the 80-year-old bingo crowd that's going to overthrow the
Right.
pig government, you know.
I just love that they're like just.
And Toccoa's a
old.
dump. Yeah.
I'd never heard of it. Toccoa. Okay,
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
Toccoa.
okay. There were I remember a bunch of overlapping. When I said there were like regulars, and I said, you know, there were like my regulars, like my people, and then there were other regulars. There were a lot of old farmer guys that didn't do shit, especially like in the off season, or maybe they just never did anything.
Yeah.
There was always a booth of like old crotchety overall wearing guys that would just smoke a whole pack at once.
Yeah.
And they were into some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
One of them was always talking about treasure hunting. He always wanted me to go on a treasure hunt because he knew all these treasure hunting locations. But then he would talk
Where
about...
was this?
This is in Franklin, Tennessee. And then one of them would talk about how this one cave in Kentucky is guarded by demons.
Oh, wow.
So we can't go.
Because
Because
a lot of money that way. That's how Scrooge McDuck made his fortune.
I know. Yeah. I mean... Treasure hunting. Well, I mean, Waffle House...
Because we've all heard of the Pirates of Tennessee.
Well, and I mean, and I feel this way about the South, is that in the South, when you have a somewhat oppressive culture,
Right.
you know, whether it's racial and religious and all that, the counterculture, there aren't enough places to meet for like individual countercultures. Like in LA, there's like punk rock bars, and then also weird conspiracy theory coffee shop and all that. But in the South, like all that shit, it just has to go together in one venue.
Exactly.
So, I mean, there were a lot of people hanging out where it would be like weird Rastafarian guy next to weird satanic 9/11 truther and they're just all at the same booth, you know?
It's open all night.
It's open all night.
That says a lot.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of places open all night.
That's right.
No,
Well,
especially down there.
Waffle House, WH, also stands for Witching Hour.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
I found treasure at a Waffle House once.
Oh, what do we got?
When I was living in Atlanta, and the Waffle House near me was actually very different from your guys' Waffle House because it was in a city,
Right.
And it was like kind of the equivalent types of like almost like the Tom Waits, you know, characters.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Would walk into this Waffle House, and then also a lot of like working girls who were working transgendered.
Okay.
Prostitutes and male strippers. It was like weird.
Yeah.
And one time I was there with a couple of friends of mine, and we were eating, and we found this toolbox. And you know, if there's a toolbox around, yeah, you might as well open it.
You're going to open a toolbox.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Crack
it's at
open
a
that toolbox, buddy.
Exactly. It's at a Waffle House. You don't know what to expect. And we opened it up, and one of my friends noticed that there was a travel Scrabble game, and another friend of mine noticed that there was a creme brulee torch, and then I noticed, and I guess maybe this is a indictment on my character, that there were 8 vials of crack rock in there.
Right.
Yeah, and we just kind of looked at it. It was like in
So that torch wasn't for creme brulee.
No, it wasn't. Nor was
Right.
it for welding. It was like in we all looked at the
Or it was just like a chef with a lot of gumption on the run.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, those hours get long.
You could have played a prank and put that shit in the salt shakers.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we all looked at it like in Pulp Fiction when you open up the briefcase, there was just a glow and we were just staring at it.
Right.
Because we had not seen crack rock before. It was something that was very
Right.
mythical. And the one guy that was working there, this kind of middle-aged African-American guy, just looked up, noticing what was going on, and was just like, "Don't you dare touch that! Nothing good will happen if you touch that!" You know?
Yeah.
And I don't know what, if he thought we were just like, these unstreet smart, curious white folks that were
Right.
from the college. Looking to see what this whole crack thing was all about. Just understanding why it took over in the 1980s, or if we were going to sell it, or if we were going to put our hands on it, or something like that. Or maybe he was pissed off about like the torch.
He might be the soothsayer. Like he
Yeah.
knows the ending of the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Stay
yeah.
off the crack, kids. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Stay off the crack.
For about a year in the men's restroom at the Waffle House I would frequent, there was a Playboy magazine tucked behind the mirror, and we don't know, put it there. It was just gone one day. But you go in there, you take a look. Good night. That prank you bring up reminds me of a time where I put those napkin dispensers, they have springs on the inside, so it constantly springs them out. I put a used condom behind a few napkins.
Oh, great.
So
Were you just carrying it around?
no, it was recently used. And I had
at the game you remember, was it used at the Waffle House or was it?
yeah.
Okay, cool. Wow.
Yeah, this was a Waffle House used condom, and I
Wonderful symmetry to it all.
yeah, and I slipped it behind a few napkins. I still feel awful about that to this day. I mean, it could have been some sweet old lady,
They probably got their meal for free.
Yes,
Say that much right
they
there.
did get their meal for free, I'm sure. One time there was this old lady eating, and she was eating some of the lovely Burt's chili.
Yeah.
And she was there eating alone. And Waffle House has these awful industrial brown blinds.
Yeah.
Sharp metal.
Yeah.
And the blinds were up, so all the weight is at the top. And I remember them falling, this whole section of blinds at her booth for some reason, just randomly, they fell and hit her head, and her head goes in the chili. And she just goes like, "Meow!" And she didn't get her meal for free. The manager comes over and he's like, "Oh, you got to look out. I don't know what you're doing there." And then,
No, we're not giving you $8.
I find it interesting that Waffle House and Cracker Barrel have the same color schemes.
Yeah. Well, I didn't.
Cracker Barrel's more junk on the walls.
Yeah, I should have looked this up. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me to find it was the same people.
I think Waffle House is technically yellow and black, not yellow and brown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's so much brown.
There's
involved.
brown in there, but I think a lot of that is sun fading.
Okay.
Same as like it used to be like pure white, but they all just have cream colored everything now because of the smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. A 24-year-old man wrecked the holiday cheer when he started a fight with another customer on Christmas morning last year.
Where is this?
This is Georgetown. I don't know which Georgetown because we don't have internet.
Kentucky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it leaves it pretty wide open, though.
All right. The Georgetown Times reported that the incident occurred around 4:30 a.m. at a Waffle House in Georgetown, South Carolina. The suspect, who police say was, quote, highly intoxicated, was arrested for disorderly conduct after continuing to shout at officers and wrestle with the other man. Now, when I saw this headline, I was like, is there any chance this is a buddy of mine? Because this was actually Christmas night 3 years ago. There was only one bar open on Christmas night, and this is back in Alabama. So we all went to the bar, and then afterwards we're like, well, we got to go hit up Waffle House. And one of my friends, he was drunk to the point where like a normal man would have been asleep. Like,
Sure.
A normal man would have been unconscious.
So your friend goes like bear mode.
Right, yeah. So
Yeah.
he was just like nothing, like out of reality completely. And we go to the Waffle House, and the lady comes to take our order, and everybody orders, and she goes, "And what can I get for you, hon?" And he goes, he's like, "If you bring me a fucking Texas cheesesteak, I'm gonna throw it against the wall." And we're all like, "Dude, just what the fuck?"
I hate
You
that
want
drunk
the
guy.
hash browns,
Yeah. And
I hate when my friends like get like that.
It was-
it's brutal.
And so he stands up, and he's just like, and he starts like screaming. And this is Christmas night. Like, there's no one in the Waffle House. It's the 4 of us, and then like the 3 pissed off people that have to work there. And he just starts shouting at them, and he goes outside. And this is Auburn, Alabama. This is a college town. The cops have nothing better to do than to chase a drunk white kid around on Christmas night. And he walks outside and he starts doing crotch chops, like DX just starts doing crotch chops and screaming.
Stone cold.
And like we were inside, so like I couldn't hear what he was screaming, but he was definitely just like like just doing the fucking
Dude,
crotch
we should bring
chops.
back the suck it, man. I miss it. I miss the crotch chops.
And I'm watching all this go down, and I look over to my right, and there's like a Chevron across the street, and there's a cop just parked there, you know, just hanging out because it's Christmas night, nothing going on. And then I see him like turn the lights on, and so at this point I get up to be like, all right, I'm gonna go outside, grab him, put him in the car, and just be like, I'm sorry, you know, he had a little too many. You know, Merry Christmas. That was my plan.
Sure.
So I get up to like go outside and try to like deal with the cops. And before he sees the cops before I can even get to the door, and he just takes off running. And the police, like, the car just pulls in. These 2 cops get out and just start chasing him. And I'm like, well, I tried. Like, that was all I could do. And I didn't hear anything from him until maybe 2 hours later. I went to my friend's house, and it's like 5 o'clock in the morning at this point, and I'm just hanging out. And I just get a call, and he's just like, hey, man, I got away. I made it back to my house.
Wow.
I was like, that's amazing. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going to bed. He's like, are you hanging out? I hear other people. I'm like, no, that's the TV. I'm going to bed. Go to bed.
Wise choice.
I was at home for 3 days. That's the only length of time I was home. 3 days over the holidays this last year.
Yeah.
And I saw like what could have been the beginnings of a race war at Waffle House with the cops involved. There was it was Christmas Eve, and there was this redneck dude with his redneck girlfriend, and I guess she wasn't wearing panties. She had like a short skirt on, you know?
Yeah.
So she's sitting there, and there's a bunch of black dudes sitting up at the counter.
Yeah.
And one of them says something about her pussy. And for some reason, like, race gets involved real quick.
Yeah.
And people are shouting the N-word. No, his people, the black people are shouting the N-word.
Okay.
And the
Still not great.
At each other?
no, at the white people. The white people are shouting, "We're not racist. Stop! Why'd you even say that?"
Oh no!
They're out in the parking lot. Shit's getting nuts. The cops come immediately. It was like, I mean, I felt like I was home. You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
It was cozy.
It was comfortable.
It was something you understand.
It was
You could wrap your
comfortable
mind
for me.
around.
Yeah.
So we got all the flavors of the various Waffle Houses of our respective states. Good night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually had a particular Waffle House question I want to pose. The Waffle Houses in Virginia did not give you real butter with your waffles. They gave you this that little round
spread.
plastic container,
Yeah.
full of that like whipped butter
Yeah,
spread.
yeah.
Was that way with y'all?
I believe so. Yeah.
Very common. Very common.
Did
Yeah.
not like that, because if you're going to specialize in waffles, have some real butter. It's not like it's a health food
Well,
place.
the waffles are the shittiest thing at Waffle House. I mean, they're
No,
really.
the hamburger is pretty bad too.
I'm sure the hamburger's bad. The waffle is particularly bad. I remember when they got biscuits,
Yeah.
and that was a game changer. For
Oh,
me.
yeah.
I mean, that was huge. I also remember when they started taking credit cards. Way too late.
Oh yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, that's a good question. What can I take your order? What's your order?
Well, I'm a vegetarian,
Okay.
so that influences my order greatly.
Okay.
My order is this. It is an egg and cheese biscuit, then a regular biscuit,
Okay.
right? And then a double order scattered, smothered, covered.
Okay. And just so everybody knows, scattered is hash browns.
Hash browns, but they don't have to be scattered. You can also order them in the ring.
Oh, really?
And that's when they come in that ring shape, like it always looks in the menu. It's in that nice shape that you never get it in.
Oh.
But they have that. It's just a metal ring they sit on the grill.
Yeah,
Pour
yeah.
it in there.
Oh, I didn't
and
know
it makes
that.
it like a patty.
Oh, okay.
You know, but I always go scattered because
Yeah,
they're crispier.
I guess I do too. I didn't know there was a difference. And then smothered is cheese and covered is onions. Correct?
Covered
the-
is cheese.
Covered is cheese,
Smothered
smothered is
is
onions.
smothered is onions.
Pardon.
Sometimes I would go peppered.
Yeah.
but they always way overdo it, man. The cook
Too many
will
jalapenos.
always, yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Pat, what's your order?
I'm a hash browns guy.
Yeah.
And recently I decided to go all the way.
You scattered all the way?
All the way.
That's everything, by
Everything
the way.
on it.
Ham,
Yeah.
That includes
mushrooms,
Bert's chili.
Bert's
Birch
chili.
chili and gravy, which is
Gravy.
a
Gravy and chili.
A horrifying sounding combination.
It's like the cover of Load.
Yeah, no, it was, it's when you eat it, it's such a train wreck, such a disaster that it tastes amazing, but it'll hang on to you.
Yeah.
It'll hang on to you, and it'll make a very
It's still
auspicious
making you
exit.
speed shit.
Like a wet
It's
shirt.
still influencing.
Oh, it makes a very auspicious exit when it goes through the whole digestive tract. It's
Sure.
very, but no, usually I was
Looks better coming out.
yeah, smothered, covered, capped, peppered.
It's mushrooms.
Yeah, and what was the one with onions?
That's
smothered.
Smothered.
Smothered,
Yeah.
covered, capped.
Diced is ham, right?
No.
Or no, diced is tomatoes.
Diced is
chunked
tomato.
is ham.
Yeah,
Chunked is ham.
I would
Yes.
get it. I would get.
Yes.
I don't tend to go meat on the hash browns because I think
Yeah.
that's a little bit overdoing it. But I went all the way, and let me tell you, it was surprisingly amazing.
Yeah.
And
I've only seen one person try that.
and I had a triple order, which
Yeah.
Wow.
on,
Yeah.
on Christmas Day,
Yeah.
actually, and I was serenaded by a very obese man talking about chemtrails and
Sure.
taking our guns away, and he was ridiculous.
Good night. What's your order?
Mine varied wildly
Yeah.
according to mood. I mean, I was always kind of disappointed at the cheeseburger because if I go in a place like that, I just want the cheeseburger, but I didn't care for the cheeseburger too
Yeah.
much. Sometimes I would get the remember the chicken sandwich they had?
I do remember
They
it.
had like a chicken filet sandwich, and I'd put the Heinz 57 sauce on it. You always wanted the potatoes because that was the best thing.
Right, yeah, the hash browns
Right.
are the best.
And I used to get the grits sometimes too.
Grits are good.
Yeah, I'd get the grits from time to time.
With here's a question: with your grits, guys, do we go sweet with the syrup or do we go salty with the cheese?
Depends on mood. That's the magic of grits. Depending on whatever mood
Yep.
you're on,
Well,
you can
let
make
me
it taste like.
let me run this by you. Little Waffle House secret, but it's off menu.
Ooh.
Apple butter.
Yeah.
They all have apple butter.
Yeah.
But again, off menu. They don't give it to you with the standard toast, but it's always in that tray.
Yeah.
But you'll notice that they don't sit out a caddy of the jellies because people would steal the. Yeah, obviously people are
Right,
going to steal the jelly. I mean, these are Waffle House patrons.
Yeah,
So
they're animals.
what they have is
Jeez, that's just
I'm one of them. So under the counter they have a big fucking Tupperware bin.
Yeah.
And that they reach in there and grab the thing, but there's
Yeah.
a separate bin that contains honey and apple butter.
Ooh, nice.
So you can also get honey.
Yeah, I think a friend of mine would get that. My order was always the bacon Texas cheesesteak plate, and that is a
Plate means with hash browns.
with hash browns.
Right.
So that's Texas toast with cheesesteak meat, cheddar cheese, onions, and then I'd always get the hash browns double smothered and covered. So
I like that. When I was go full meal, when I'd go actual, not completely animal.
I
meal.
watched a friend of mine actually this is now that I'm talking about it, this is the same guy who got in the altercation on Christmas night. This is several years earlier. Went with a couple people and we all ordered that. All ordered the Texas cheesesteak.
Sure.
It's very filling. And afterwards, my friend just goes, "Who's ready for round 2?" And he ordered the same thing again and ate it in front of us. And it was I was like shocked.
I always loved knowing the ordering lingo.
Yeah.
And for some reason I was very proud of myself when a non-regular would come with me to a Waffle House for some reason.
Right, yeah.
It's rather like on Doug. If you remember, the Honker Burger had a particular dialect.
Good call. Good call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Doug was based off of Richmond, Virginia.
Really?
Yeah. That's like, you remember they go to like Four Clover Mall or something like that?
Sure.
That was the Cloverleaf Mall out on the Midlothian Turnpike.
Oh, okay.
Did they have a
That's-
super cheesy mayor at the time? And-
No, they didn't have people walking around with blue skin or anything like that.
no. Well, in
that's
some places in
Kentucky.
Virginia they do.
Kentucky.
Yeah, but this was too close to Richmond.
Okay.
Too much of a.
That's more of a Roanoke thing.
It's more of a mountain.
Or when you get out, when you get out towards the mountains.
Yeah,
I
you'll see
remember-
some blue skin.
I remember in Doug,
west you
one of
go.
the things that I always remembered that even when I was a kid, I found it to be incredibly unease, create a sense of unease, is that whenever, do you remember the episode where he goes to order sushi with his grandma?
No.
Oh,
Was this ABC Doug or Nickelodeon
no, this was
Doug?
Nickelodeon Doug.
Like,
ABC
yeah.
Doug is
ABC
It's
Doug,
unforgivable.
Get that shit out of
Yeah,
here.
we're not recognizing ABC.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like a
It's not
J.J. Abrams Star Wars.
Yeah,
It's not canon.
The
when
court
Doug,
does
when
not
Doug is
recognize.
wearing full khakis, you know,
Yeah.
this is out of the
No,
canon.
no, it's
different sleeves,
Long
and they
sleeves, get outta
changed
here.
Roger Klotz around. I could
Yeah.
not deal with that.
Oh, the new Roger was awful. The new Patty Mayonnaise voice was awful.
Yep.
What did the new Roger look like? I completely forget.
He just was a different.
They changed him, didn't it? Because he used to be like trailer trash, and
Yeah.
now he was like
Rich.
kid
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
It makes no.
His
it's like that
family
last
got
season of
rich.
Roseanne or something.
It was
Well,
like
I think
a-
that was
a-
the first episode, if I remember, because I only watched the first episode of the new Doug, and if I remember correctly, Roger's family like wins the lottery or something happens,
And it
he
created
moves-
an old money versus nouveau riche sort of
Snobs
conflict
versus
between
slobs.
Roger Klotz and BB Bluff.
Right.
But so he goes. His grandma's like a total pistol. She rides a Harley with
Yes.
a sidecar.
Yes.
And they go to sushi, and I remember distinctly in the episode the background music, because they always had the background music.
Yeah.
You know, that was kind of
Chicka-wa-cha.
yeah, exactly. Well, the one for the sushi place was. Ding, 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 ding.
So, Doug, now you got your chopsticks. What kind of sushi are you gonna eat, huh?
Oh shit, I remember
Ding.
this.
Yeah, it was like this
Oh my
weird
God.
sort of like Charlie Chan, but it was done with
Whoa.
someone's voice, which made it like
Oh
Whoa.
god.
so ridiculous.
Maybe
Like
it
you
was
just,
maybe it was a Beats track when they started getting into like Asian influence.
No, because the Beats only had "I Need More Allowance" and "Killer Tofu."
Well, I think they
Those are the only two songs.
No, no,
where's
no.
my,
that was
where's
just
my
their
socks?
singles.
Where's
That
my
was just their
socks?
singles, and they had these deep album tracks that were all crazy.
Yeah.
The one where the bald woman really decided to, go off.
Well, because the
rails.
Beats obviously had like a huge acid phase.
They also had
Yeah.
"Shout Your Lungs Out." You remember that one? You gotta shout your lungs out.
I don't
You gotta
know.
roll your window down.
That was one that I always
gotta
played
roll
on
your
the.
soap.
That's one of
Yeah.
the ones I always played on the jukebox at Waffle House. I was a big Beats fan on the
Beats.
Waffle House jukebox.
It's a down boy to say Honkaburger.
Killer Tofu. E-I-E-I. Oh,
Oh, remember? I need more allowance.
Oh, yeah.
What did he hold it? Why? Because I do.
Yeah,
There's a little bit of punk in that
Yeah.
one.
Well, they were. Yeah. There were different eras of the Beats, and when Doug first got into the Beats, they were very Ramones.
Yeah.
They looked like the Ramones.
Yeah, I think they even kind of were they British though, right?
They were
I always
British.
thought
They
they
were
were kind of like Beatles pastiche or something.
Yeah.
With a little bit of post punk in them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'd hate to see. Like,
But they'd still
how-
play Bluffington.
Yeah, but I wonder. Well, Doug moved from Bloatsburg, and he didn't know about the Beats.
That's right.
Before, and I thought how backwards was Bloatsburg?
Well,
like
maybe
it had to have been. Like it had to be a big city because it was like proximate to Bluffington because they had the rivalry, like they had
Yeah.
the sports rivalry.
Sure.
Well, I
Like
liken
Percy
it-
Femur went to
That's
Bloatsburg High.
I liken it to
but he didn't
ancient
know
Greece.
what the Beats were. So I don't know how like backwoods.
I think it was like ancient Greece. You had city states.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was like ancient
Yeah.
Mediterranean.
Yeah.
And they have different cultures. And they have their rivalries, like Athens and Sparta.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
If it's like you say, and Bluffington is based on Northern Virginia, Bloatsburg might be Washington D.C. It might be a comment on the federal budget.
Yeah.
It's a little bloated.
Or Fredericksburg. Because,
or,
the
or
Mason-Dixon
Baltimore.
line is the Rappahannock.
Or Bal-
it might be Baltimore.
I think my best experience with the waitress at Waffle House was on the way back from Bonnaroo one year. We stopped in Tyrone, Georgia.
Yeah.
And we go to the Waffle House, and it's probably 3 in the morning. We're driving back from Manchester, Tennessee all night back to Alabama. And we're all just, we've been at a music festival for 4 days. We're just covered in just dirt.
Smothered, covered in cap.
Smothered, covered in caps. And I remember like just washing my hands, and it was just like black water. Like it was gross. And so keep on rolling. Exactly. And so we're all sitting there, and the waitress is just being real funny with everybody. She's joking around, and then she brings us all our food, and she we eat for a minute, and I love that she waited until we were eating to do this. She comes back, she's like, "Does anybody need a refill on anything?" And we're all like, "No, we're good," or whatever. And then she goes, "I'm just surprised none of y'all got the Waffle House special." And of course we're like, "Well, what's the Waffle House special?" She goes, "Give me $1." And somebody like handed her $1. She tucks the dollar into her apron, and she goes, "The Waffle House special, all you can eat for under $1." And this is like a 70-year-old lady.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
made a cunnilingus joke. It was amazing.
Yeah.
You're all like,
Where Waffle House is.
This is Tyrone, Georgia. If you're driving up
gotta get
85
there.
towards Atlanta, can't miss it.
I-
Palmetto Tyrone exit.
Have we said this
They're
now?
a sexual bunch.
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the Waffle crew.
Oh, and she was awesome. She was old too. Like I didn't
Yeah.
mention
Whoa,
that. She
from
was like
Alice.
in her 60s.
Have we said that? Your Waffle House, which one?
My Waffle House. Well, it's I see. There's 4 of them in Auburn. There's one. There's 2 at the 2 interstate exits, and then there's one in down. Actually, I guess there's 3, and there's one downtown that they just built, and it's like what we were talking about at the beginning, how they're like, oh, we can just put these in kind of the cool parts of town, and people will go to them, and there's like lines out the door. There's always like security guards there because
Right.
they're so busy because it's downtown Auburn's next to the football stadium. So on game night, they make untold amounts of money because they're the only thing open past a certain hour. And since that one's the closest to my house, even though it's the newest, I will say that one. But
Okay.
yeah, it's good though. It's a good spot.
Mine was the. Actually, do y'all remember after the 9/11 they had the Beltway sniper?
Yeah.
Do you remember his last attack, which was in Ashland, Virginia? At was it Ponderosa?
Yeah.
I lived like less than a mile from that.
Oh, wow.
I wasn't there at the time, but when I lived there, I lived less than a mile from that. And that's where my Waffle House was. It's right off 95 South exit. You've got a Cracker Barrel, where I once put a crippled frog out of his misery. You've got a truck stop, which had slow service but really good chicken fries. You've got all the things we were talking about.
Yeah.
And the 24-hour Waffle House.
Yeah.
That's when I used to go. I remember waking up at like 11 p.m. and just going there at night.
Yeah.
There had to have been a huge rivalry between the Cracker Barrel and the Ponderosa because Ponderosa, that's another like staple of Southern.
I've never been to a
I never
Ponderosa.
had it either. I mean, I love Bonanza, but I just could not get myself to go in there. There was a Pizza Hut there too. A lot of things.
I got food poisoning at a Ponderosa once. It's essentially redneck sizzler. That's what Ponderosa is.
Yeah, I couldn't get myself to go to Sizzler neither.
I was mine was Highway 96 in Franklin, Tennessee. Highway 96 is actually Murfreesboro Road.
Yes.
You know, but it was right off of I-65.
Yeah.
And dude, amazing. Just amazing time. Some of the best times of my life.
Yeah.
And that's pathetic. That's pathetic about me. It doesn't say good things about my life. But nonetheless, it's true. I remember sometimes we would play the movie game. There'd be like 20 of us playing the movie game, and it was just the most. We would play for hours.
What's the movie game?
So you name a film, and then the person next to you names someone that was in that film. The person next to them names someone else. We'll play a quick round because you start easy. So I'll say we'll go clockwise. So I'll say Mars Attacks.
Okay. Jack Nicholson.
Rod Steiger.
No. You name a movie Jack Nicholson was in.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? And then you name
But
someone
I
else
wanted
from
to
that
say
movie.
Jim Brown.
Hit by the Monkeys.
Ooh.
Well, that's
See, you really.
That's a
threw,
dead end.
that's
You
fucking
fucked it.
ridiculous.
Name a monkey.
That would. I'm trying to think of one that would actually.
You have to be able to back it
up.
up though, because
Yeah.
he'd name a monkey, but then could
There's
you
no
name
other monkey
another
movies.
monkey film. I mean,
Mickey Dolenz never did any guest parts in anything.
all right, guys, you're failing to grasp the concept of the movie
I got
game.
it.
I
love it.
But
It's-
I just wanted to find. I wanted to
I
continue.
throw a curveball in there.
All right,
I didn't want the
right.
circle to be unbroken by picking the wrong.
Okay,
movie.
all right.
Yeah.
I was,
Okay,
I was,
Easy Rider.
That would. Jesus. Dennis Hopper. I was gonna say fuck you, Rivers. I was put on the spot, and I was.
you could have gone Peter Fonda. Would have gotten us to Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I could have said Phil Spector, but that would have thrown the.
I would have thrown it in the mix.
Be a dead end. It's funny. I worked at a steakhouse, and we
We got to finish the round real fast.
No, hold on.
Okay.
It's weird because we have a similar game where when I was working at a steakhouse, we would wash these potatoes, and there'd always be one that's too like small to serve, and we had this game called Actator where I would go, like for instance, it would be like Jack Nicholson was in Mars Attacks with Pierce Brosnan, and then you toss the potato at somebody, and they have to go. Pierce Brosnan was in Die Another Day with Halle Berry, and then they toss the potato at somebody. So
Same thing, but you're just
Similar game.
eliminating the movie part.
exactly, yeah.
So where did we leave off? Who do you
Dennis
have?
Hopper.
Dennis
Sorry.
Hopper. All right.
You can always go for Super Mario Brothers, the movie.
No way. No, I'm not doing
With
that.
Johnny Legs.
I'm not doing that. I'll just go Speed.
Oh, Speed. Jeff Daniels.
Was he in Gettysburg?
No, that was during the Civil War. It's a bunch of.
Remember they had
I don't know.
Oh no.
Was he in Dumb and Dumber?
Uh-huh.
He
Yeah.
was in Gettysburg. He was Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've seen Gettysburg.
Oh, well, they'll go
seen
with Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber.
All right, that would be Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. We'll go Me, Myself, and Irene.
Okay, Renee Zellweger.
Tom Cruise.
No, you got to name a Zellweger movie.
Yeah, well, that
Tom
one
Cruise,
with,
the movie.
That one with Jerry Maguire.
Jerry Maguire. Yeah, Jerry Maguire.
Oh, so Jerry Maguire?
Yeah.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
No. Oh, wait, no. Okay. Cuba Gooding
so he
Jr.
goes,
No,
Tom Cruise.
that messed me up.
telephone
That
game
messed
or
me up. That messed me up. All right, you're going Cuba Gooding Jr. Okay, this is the last round. Last round,
Okay.
we'll get back to Waffle House. Okay, Cuba Gooding Jr. As good as it gets.
Helen Hunt.
Oh, God. Was she in You Got Mail?
No.
No.
That's Meg Ryan.
Shit. Yeah, Twister. Exactly. Thank you, Rivers.
Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton. I'm going to go Terminator.
Oh, I was hoping you go. Oh, wait. You know what? I'm always guilty of Paxton Pullman fucking up. I was hoping for Spaceballs, but that would have been Pullman. You're going Terminator?
Dude, James Cameron fucking loved Bill Paxton. He gave him so many chances.
Oh, yeah. Bill Paxton's great. I love Bill Paxton. You're going
Terminator.
Terminator?
O.J. Simpson.
What?
He was supposed to. He was supposed to be the original Terminator.
Doesn't count.
Is that true?
He wasn't in Terminator.
Shit.
He's a method actor.
Shit.
What's Sarah Connor's name?
Sarah Connor.
Fucking Linda Hamilton.
Linda Hamilton. There we go. Yeah.
Wow, what's his boy's name? Edward Furlong.
No.
That's a sequel. That's the sequel.
You got to name Edward.
Oh, Terminator 2. Terminator 2. It's easy when it's a franchise.
God, I wish I could remember the guy that played Bobby Budnick in Salute Your Shorts.
Yeah,
That would've been the
that fucking guy.
Get it right or pay the price.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
that was Ugg.
Oh, man. Can we just stop now? 'Cause
Yeah.
I'll just spend like 2 minutes trying to remember that guy's name.
Yeah, let's stop. Anyway, that's the movie game.
Okay.
Hours of fun.
Yeah. it's-
Hours of fun.
Fiery red
Sometimes we
mullet.
play like with the cook, and the cook would have to leave and make something. We'd take a break. It
Oh, nice.
was great, man.
I was in an emergency room one time, waiting on a friend of mine who fucked up her knee real bad, and I heard a girl go. She was like, "I'm waiting on my husband," and like her friend had come to, I guess, hang out with her in the waiting room, and he goes, "What happened?" It's like he got too drunk at the goddamn Waffle House and locked himself in the bathroom. He wouldn't come out. He fucked up my 21st birthday.
Wow.
He got too drunk at the Waffle House. Or
I
too-
guess
he was.
I guess
drunk
he
and-
reached his drunkenness reached its apex at the Waffle House, and he locked himself in the bathroom and refused to come out of the bathroom until someone called him an ambulance. And
Not very kind of him, but it's good to
they
do
took
this.
him to the, and I got to go back and hang out with my friend while they were sewing up her knee, and I could see the guy, and he didn't have alcohol. They didn't pump his stomach, but he was just real drunk. He was
Yeah.
just laying in a hospital.
Well, no, he was just being a drama asshole.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Yeah, it's being a bitch.
Waffle House bitch is what he
Yeah,
was.
but
Take me to the hospital.
right.
There's so much of that in the South, just drama for no reason.
Well, and my favorite thing in the whole thing is
you don't know me, JT. You don't know me.
Well, my favorite is just the phrase, "My husband got drunk and fucked up my 21st birthday."
Yeah.
So much of that is great.
Yeah. That is a
My
great.
husband, yeah,
That's a
fucked
great
up my
phrase.
21st birthday.
Life courses are shorter in the South.
Yeah.
People don't wait for careers in the South. You just graduate from high school or get your GED and just go work at Ponderosa.
So we hinted at this earlier, and I would like to get into this. This is Pat's realm for sure.
Oh, yeah.
The jukebox, the originals.
Beautiful.
We got Waffle House original tunes, as we mentioned.
Well, yeah. There's Waffle House Rock. There's Waffle House Birthday.
There's Sauce Master.
Yeah.
Sauce Master.
Sauce
There's,
Master.
I like the suggestiveness.
Yeah,
of
I'm
Smother
going-
covered in cap. That's another
I'm going back to the Waffle House. Raisins in my toast.
Raisins in my toast. I remember that.
Raisin toast at Waffle House.
What happens to a raisin in my toast?
Sort of a
Does it-
racial issue. Really.
Exactly. Yeah.
Don't say there's not a social consciousness to your Waffle House music. It's a metaphor, is what it is.
But yeah,
Well,
there's
yeah.
Tell I'd like you to just explain.
No, they have. If you go to any Waffle House in the United States, there's a jukebox. And how many Waffle Houses you said there were?
I just have the map. It doesn't have the full tally.
There's
but
something like 1,500 of them at the very. Well, there has to be more than 1,500.
Let's see. Yeah, I'll do math while you talk.
Yeah, okay. Count. Use your fingers and your toes. But yeah, every Waffle House has a jukebox, and at least two of the rows on any Waffle House jukebox.
Two of the columns.
Yeah, columns. My
Yeah.
mistake. We can edit this out, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I just mean columns. So that creates a bigger number.
Yeah. No, absolutely, and they're marked with a special color code.
Yep. Yep.
And they are the Waffle House songs, and apparently most of the songs that are Waffle House originals were composed and written by Buckner and Garcia, the guys that did Pac-Man Fever. Which is mind-blowing. It's like the video game thing just dried up, and they went to another like fertile crescent of novelty songs.
You know, Pac-Man Fever was actually backed by an entire record of video game songs.
Yeah, they also have
an album.
They also had a Mr. T song that was very popular. But yeah, it's like they're very. There's an incredible range in musical styles. I mean, there's like a Sousa March, kind of doo-wop type songs. They
have like kind of old country story songs.
Yeah,
Well, I was driving down one night.
Yeah.
Well, aren't they jingle riders?
Yeah, they were jingle riders.
Jingle riders always no pastiche like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's about 1,500.
1,500. Yeah,
about
But
1,500
if you ever
Waffle
track
Houses.
down their video game album, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty
Do
bad.
the Donkey Kong piece of shit. Song about Mousetrap. Now, that is an obscure game.
Mousetrap, cheese was a bait. Won't somebody help me before it's too late?
Not even a board game. I'm talking a video game.
Yeah.
Was it like Ballad of the Green Guy or something like that?
No,
he
Ballad
wasn't
of the
green,
Green
he was a
Diver.
mouse.
Well, no,
Mouse, yeah.
but there's the green diver that goes into the empty pool.
Yeah,
In a
but
Mousetrap?
In Mousetrap, yeah.
you guys
I remember the
remember?
cat.
You guys remember, like at Walmart or whatever, maybe 10 years ago, you could buy those games that are just plug and play. You plug it into your TV, and it was just a joystick and a button.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
had those.
And it would come with
Yeah.
like 6 games.
Yeah.
Right? And each one had like a headliner game. So it'd be like Galaga or Pac-Man. There was a Galaga one and a Pac-Man one, but then everything else on it was shit.
It was it was like Rally X and things. Like, they were
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
by company, like Namco.
Yeah, but I had Mousetrap on one of them.
Okay, yeah, that was Exidy, so that was an obscure company.
That was
They made
a-
my favorite arcade game, by the way, Cheyenne, which was a gun shooting game with cowboys.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's an obscure one to be on one of those.
But that was like the throwaway game at the bottom,
Those things were never that good because a lot of times the gameplay was kind of simplified.
Well, the joystick thing, I mean, it was almost impossible. And also, they put the button on the wrong side.
Yeah, they did.
Every time, the button was on the lower right. And it's like, well, you're not going to set it up that way. What am I, a jazz drummer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just think it's amazing that Buckner and Garcia are considered to be like the ultimate one-hit wonders. Because, I mean, it encapsulates kind of the one-hit wonder thing where it's just
totally.
like they have one
It's
song.
a moment in time.
It's a moment in time. You listen to it, and it's just completely antiquated. You don't understand it. It's just like... But you... By God, you have a whole font of just amazing, very diverse songs done by these two
They got
guys.
deep tracks.
Yeah.
Deep tracks.
These are like the deepest
Yeah.
cuts on there, and that's prolific.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how many times will somebody drunk go into a Waffle House and be like, "Oh, there's a song called Sauce Master," no,
Yeah.
play it,
Yeah, well, there's Waffle House Christmas, Waffle House Rock. I mean, they've really pretty much any sort of noun that you can throw after Waffle House as an adjective, they've got that ground covered.
Yeah.
Waffle House Boogie.
Yeah, Waffle House Scuba Dive, like it's anything, things that are impossible, things that boggle
Waffle
the
House
mind.
reggaeton, you name it. They got
Yeah,
I'd love to hear Waffle House.
Yeah,
That's
it's
Waffle House
Yeah.
dub.
they're doing Waffle Step now.
Waffle step.
Waffle
Yep,
step.
yep. Do the syrup step.
Takes us back to Doug, the Waffle Stomper.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I remember the nematode.
Oh, the Waffle Stomper was a big villain.
Yeah.
Nematodes,
that wasn't-
episode
actually,
one.
The Waffle
Waffle Stomper
Stomper
villain
was
for
not
Quail
a
Man?
No, Waffle Stomper was not a villain. The Waffle Stomper, which eventually we'll probably have a Doug episode of this.
I think this is.
It's just rapidly
combined it.
Waffle House / Doug.
But But the Waffle Stomper was the kind of movie that they used to go to.
Waffle Stomper! Trick or treat. What are you doing here, Waffle Stomper? We're not doing anything. Liar, liar, pants on fire. I hate stupid catchphrases. Get him, boys!
Yeah.
There was like Crash Adams, which was the James Bond one, and the Waffle Stomper was done by the guy that was like the ripoff of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
And he was like, shit would go down, and somebody would be like in a hostage situation. And you see that boot fucking drop, and you know business is about to pick up.
Yeah, this warehouse is about to get nuts.
I know.
The
He's gonna fucking stomp that warehouse to the ground.
Yeah.
It's
The
foundation.
Waffle Stomper is afoot. Oh man!
I'm going to peel you off the bottom of my shoe, much like a piece of gum. You know, just something, yeah.
Sarah Connor.
Well, because there was that episode when Roger got the huge sneakers, the ridiculous sneakers.
Yeah, that
remember
was...
that was like when like Air Jordans were coming out,
Yeah.
and it was like their Air Jordan parallel.
Oh, the pump. Remember the pump?
Yeah, yeah. Remember the pump?
This has turned into I love the 90s all of a
Yeah,
sudden.
totally.
The early 90s.
Yeah.
I prefer the mid 90s. I consider that the high 90s, the grunge / gangster era.
The Bush era.
I wanted.
No, the early Clinton.
No, I'm talking about the band
that
Bush.
The first
Yeah.
one, number one.
Bush X, as I think they called him in Canada. Or something.
Just shaved his head. That guy.
Really?
Yeah, it was like for solidarity with some kid with cancer.
All the celebrity news you need.
His
right here.
his asshole brother got cancer.
No, just some kid, some little kid.
No, I was doing a Bush song reference.
Oh,
Flying to Los Angeles.
right.
That asshole brother got
Find my
cancer.
asshole brother. Oh, okay.
The asshole brother got cancer.
What was that?
and
That
he
wasn't glycerin.
performed
What the
himself.
fuck song was that?
Everything Zen.
Ah, brutal.
You know way too much about Bush.
No, that song was
already.
brutal.
Yeah.
Dude, I had a dream the other night. I know this is so unrelated, but this was the whole dream.
Yeah.
I don't know why. This was the whole dream. Is I was sitting down at my computer, torrenting Razor Blade Suitcase, and for some reason I could suck my own dick. I wasn't like trying to. It was just like in front of my face. Like that's how big it was. So I had like a 3-foot dick in the dream.
And you
Swallowed.
you're dreaming you can suck your own dick, and you remember the Razor Blade Suitcase part of this dream?
Yeah, because it was like weird to me. Like I was just like I guess I should like in my dream I could do it, but it had never occurred to me before. You know what I mean? And I could just do it, but like the way you would sip a straw, like it was just in front of me.
Oh no, but was this the big reveal of the dream, or in this dream reality you do that all the time? And it's like, oh, I'm waiting for this to download, and I got dial up, so I'm just gonna suck my own dick.
No, in my dream reality, I had like a 3-foot crazy dick, but I could just do that. But it had never occurred to me before. It only occurred to me while I was torrenting Razor Blade Suitcase, and I was like thinking about it. I was like, oh, dude, I remember that one track. I'm gonna listen to that later, you know.
If anybody out there can suck their own dick, now you know what the soundtrack is.
I can just imagine, like, you know, in like this sort of weird Fight Club cinematography where it's all dark and stuff like that, and the song "Swallowed" by Bush is playing, and you're just sucking your own dick. We're just like, swallowed, hollow.
I like the fact it's a crazy dick too, because it's not just like a regular sane
It's like
dick.
a novelty.
It's not even just that it's 3 feet; it's crazy.
No,
it's certifiable.
No, you know what's weird is that this dream, it happened. Obviously, I was asleep at night. This wasn't like a nap, but the dream was total daylight, totally during the day. It wasn't like some dark, shameful thing. It was just like normal day. Just had a sandwich. You're like, oh, wait a minute, I can just pop this in my mouth.
So it creates the weird situation of what's the more horrifying thing in this dream? The fact that
I've chosen not to look into it, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
I've chosen not to Google what this means.
What does Freud have to say about the band Bush? Because he probably has plenty to say about crazy enlarged phalluses.
There are a lot of contradictions happening.
Fellatio, but there's nothing.
It's a band called Bush with a male singer.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. I'm torrenting their seeds and leechers. You know, the whole thing very sexual.
Yeah.
Very sexual.
Final topic I'd like to discuss about Waffle House.
But some guy has probably sucked his own dick at a Waffle House and put like some Bush on the jukebox.
On the jukebox.
Yeah.
The Waffle House Index The Waffle House Index is an informal metric used by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, to determine the impact of a storm and the likely scale of assistance required for disaster recovery. Basically, if a tornado comes through your area, or a hurricane, or a flood, FEMA will call Waffle House, and they have it's 3 levels. Green, the restaurant. If the restaurant is serving a full menu and they're open, that's
green.
That's green. Yellow, if the restaurant is serving a limited menu, indicating there may not be power or only power from the generator, and food supplies may be low. Or
How are they calling the Waffle House then?
Or red, the restaurant is closed. They'll just, I guess, whoever their local guy is will go by, see if they.
If a Waffle House closes, it's the apocalypse.
No, that's exactly it.
Green,
it says
yellow, and red. Why don't they just use smothered, covered, and capped?
smothered, covered.
Yeah.
What would I would imagine capped would be full disaster because of the mushroom cloud.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
This is such a shitty thing I did.
What's that?
This was at a Waffle House.
Hit me.
I was at my Waffle House, and this was during. It wasn't Hurricane Katrina. No, it was. It was Katrina, and it was during Hurricane Katrina, and there was a news reporter there doing a story because it was near a motel. So there were a bunch of people coming up from Louisiana. There were a bunch of people evacuating.
Yeah.
And driving through. So she was trying to get an interview with someone that was evacuating Katrina, and I lied and said that I was evacuating, and she interviewed me for Channel 2 News in Nashville, and I was like, "Oh man, it's crazy down there, man." It's like, I just did this whole interview, and just completely just giving her whatever she wanted to hear, like it's chaos, people on the streets, there's rapes, murders, like.
To be fair, they were going to go until they got somebody like that anyway.
Yeah, yeah. That's the whole point.
I was just trying to make her night easy.
I just want to know how it feels that your government decides how much help your community needs by whether or not the Waffle House is open.
Well, because Waffle House has weird policies. Like, for instance, everyone works on Christmas.
Yeah.
If you work at a Waffle House, everyone is on shift at some point during Christmas. That's how they do it. No one gets time off.
Yeah.
Even if you only work for an hour.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it comes back to, too, it's open all the time.
Right.
I know, like, if FEMA was based out of, say, New England, it'd be a Dunkin' Donuts.
Be a Dunkin' Donuts.
index.
Right. I mean, I get why they do it. I just think it's amazing that
it is amazing.
Somebody has put pen to paper on this, and it's a policy now.
Well, I mean, the thing is that God decides to unleash his vengeance more on the areas in which there are Waffle Houses.
It's true.
Yeah.
They suffer all the punishment.
I spent
really, they take the blow for you.
I spent a tornado warning once in a Waffle House bathroom. It's fucking terrifying. I mean, Waffle Houses are the most unsafe foundations. Like we said earlier, they go up in a month. You know, it's all aluminum, cheap Home Depot scrap aluminum and glass.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
If they could just drive it up on a truck and plop it down, they would. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think they probably could assemble most of it elsewhere.
There's really not much difference.
Yeah.
You go down the highway, you see one of them oversized load trucks. There's a Waffle House on the back of that fucking thing.
Right, it might as well be.
Yeah, they all have a little bit of brick. They have like one brick wall, you know?
Yeah.
Sort of by the chimney out back. There's always that weird steam chimney for no reason.
Yeah, that they feed the hood vents through.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that, like, I like the idea of a limited menu. Like, the thing that, what would be the first thing to go if there was a tornado that ripped through
sour cream?
Maybe like. But the thing is,
if they lost power,
right? Yeah, if they
so
lost
there's
power.
no grill.
Yeah,
I know they have salads. They've got pie.
Yeah, that's true.
The salads are pre-made.
Yeah,
so those are just in the cooler. I don't know how fast they expire. I mean, everything there goes bad.
I mean, it doesn't matter if there is refrigeration. The lettuce there is always brown. It's always got a nice.
Those salads are awful.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just take the lettuce off. You get the cheeseburger or something. Just take the lettuce off that fucking thing.
Yeah, I don't know where they're getting their lettuce.
It's like eating grass.
And we talked about this the 4th of July, Jesse. Both of my first closing bit as a comedian I ever did, like the first thing where I was ever like, that's good enough to end on, was a joke about Waffle House.
Mine too.
Yeah.
and it was also the first thing that I ever wrote. I mean, I used to be like a very like Dave Attell, like one-liner guy.
Right.
Like a shock one-liner. You know? And my first bit I ever wrote that was concise, like series of things.
Right.
Had a rhythm. Was like a 5-minute long Waffle House bit.
Yeah.
And, it's weird now because I try doing it when I go back to the South, and I don't remember it that well.
Yeah.
So now it bombs, but I should listen to some old tapes or something.
The thing used to annoy me when I was doing comedy in Boston is you had a lot of people and they'd maybe been to one once, and then they'd just go back there and tell everybody how awful Waffle House is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit, man, if you lived there, you'd know. I mean, you just have to eat this thing, and it's not bad.
No, it's not.
Bill
It serves its function.
Part of the human condition.
Yeah.
I think amongst the comedy community.
That should be their slogan. Waffle House, part of the human condition.
It's a metaphor for it. It's the soul of America.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
But I think amongst comedy fans that aren't from the South or from, Middle America, they equate Waffle House with that Bill Hicks bit.
What are you reading for?
What
Yeah,
you
yeah.
reading for?
Not what am I reading.
What am I reading for?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Bill Hicks. Okay. Bill Hicks.
I don't know, to be so I'm not a fucking waffle waitress. It's just like.
And as my friend Jimmy Pineapple would say, case fucking closed. Bill Hicks.
Oh. Has everybody got any closing thoughts on Wahoo? Good night.
Wahoo.
I called it Wahoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good night doesn't approve of
No, that sounds
abbreviating.
like that modern day shit, like when they're like no ho and all that kind of shit.
I think that was the irony of it. It's like you're heading down to the Wahoo, you're going to get pink eye.
Yeah.
What neighborhood you live in? I live in Wahoo.
WeHo? No, Wahoo.
I live in Wahoo. Which, Wahoo is kind of like.
If we open a Waffle House in Silver Lake, it'll become the Wahoo neighborhood.
But yeah,
Yeah,
It'll be
it would
so
become
popular.
huge.
I think that Wahoo is the opposite of WeHo. It's
is,
like
yeah.
the kind of on the spectrum of America.
It's an
On one hand, you have WeHo, West
Yeah.
Hollywood, and on the other hand, you have Wahoo, Waffle House.
I don't know. There's a lot of people hanging around with their shirts on, without no shirts, I should say, outside of either of them. Some of them just more cut than others.
Yeah. Well, I remember, I feel like we should dedicate this show to Gary, who's a waffle waiter I know down south. And what happened with him, he lived in the motel next door.
Yeah.
And he decided he wanted to sail around the world. So he bought 2 canoes from the newspaper, like shitty used canoes, and they were just rusty canoes, and he just chained them up outside the motel. And one time
If there's ever a flood, they'd be all set.
yeah.
Waffle House index right there.
One time he didn't have a car, and I drove him to his apartment he used to have to pick up some stuff, and he made me pick up a hooker. I didn't know she was a hooker. No, dude, I was like 16, and it was the middle of the day.
Did you have multicolored hair back then?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of bumper stickers covering a variety of issues. and letting the people know. And there was in the middle of the day, and there was this girl, just this fat redheaded chick walking to the side of the street, and he goes, "Hey man, I know her. She shouldn't be doing this. Pull over." And she gets in the back, and she just goes, "So am I doing both, y'all?" And I was like, "Fuck!" And so this Gary, who writes poetry and wants to sail around the world.
Yeah.
He writes poetry under the name Lancelot. I'm serious. And wants to sail around the world. He makes me take him to some shitty motel.
Yeah.
And he's like, "All right, man. Look, when I'm done in there, I'll give you a call." And he's like, "Just hang out somewhere for like an hour, 2 hours." I literally go next door to this gas station Subway, and before I even get my sandwich done, the phone rings. He's like, "I'm done, man." Yeah, right. So I go over there, and this guy was like so full of shit. He's like, "Oh, dude, I fingered her. She came immediately."
He paid that kind of money for a finger bang?
I don't know, but
He went to the movies.
Yeah.
Although with the movie prices nowadays.
So he slept with this girl, and I remember having a very real conversation with her because she was sitting in the back, and he went in to get the room, and she's like, "So I'm not doing you either," and I was like, "No, like I'm not that kind of guy. I'm sorry, you know." And she's like, "Oh no, I think that's cool," and I was like, "So how do you get into this?" It was a very catcher in the rye. Anyway, a few months later, he was found in the motel with a shotgun blast to the face. Dead guy now. So we're dedicating this to Gary, who never got to sail around the world, but girls came immediately when he fingered them. And and that's the kind of people that work there. A lot of them are dead now.
He's a patriot.
He's a patriot.
And you're a patriot.
Thanks, Rivers.
Jesse Case, everybody.
Yeah.
This is This is Goods from the Woods.
It's been fun.
Thank you so much. See you next time.